Greetings nerdlings and welcome to Amalgam Nation Presents World of Lorecraft, Weaponcraft, Frostmourne Edition. Whomsoever takes up this blade shall wield power eternal. Just as the blade rends flesh, so must power scar the spirit. The inscription on Frostmourne's pedestal. Frostmourne was the rune blade that Ner'zhul, the Lich King, thrust from the frozen throne, intending that Artus Menethil, his unwitting potential host, would discover it on the continent of Northrend. It was wielded by Artus, the new Lich King, until it was destroyed by Tirion Fordring following his defeat in Icecrown Citadel. A gold-plated replica of Frostmourne's hilt is now on display in Dalaran, held in place on the statue of Tirion Fordring. The shards of the weapon are used in World of Warcraft Legion to forge the artifacts Icebringer and Soul Reaper for Frost Death Knights to fight against the Burning Legion. Origin of Frostmourne. When Ner'zhul was transformed into the Lich King by Kil'jaeden, his disembodied spirit was shackled to a magical suit of armour as well as the rune blade Frostmourne. Trapped within an icy tomb called the Frozen Throne, both the armour and blade were crafted by the Natrazim for the purpose of containing and controlling the Lich King. Ner'zhul was not content with being a pawn of the Burning Legion and began working on a plan for escape. The first stage of his plan was set in motion when he used his powers to push Frostmourne through the ice and out of the Frozen Throne, plunging it into the snows of Northrend to await one who would claim it and become the Lich King's agent. Ner'zhul found his agent in Artus Menethil, the young prince of Lordaeron, who had come to Northrend in a quest to end the plague. Moradin Bronzebeard, a dwarven explorer based at the time in Northrend, was searching for the weapon after hearing of Frostmourne's power when Artus and his men arrived. When the forces of the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis began to close in around them, Artus and Moradin set out to claim it. Deep within a hidden cave, Frostmourne was protected by the Guardian and several revenants who tried to forewarn Artus of the danger, but he ignored the warning and destroyed them. When they found the sword, Moradin read the inscription on the dais. Whomsoever takes up this blade shall wield power eternal. Just as the blade rends flesh, so must power scar the spirit. Moradin realized then that the blade was cursed, but Artus said he would gladly bear any curse to save his homeland. Upon speaking those words, the ice encasing the sword shattered and exploded outward. A jagged shard struck Moradin, seemingly striking him dead. Artus gazed upon Moradin's corpse, discarded his hammer Light's Vengeance, and took hold of the blade. With the sword in hand, Artus returned to his base and staged a counterattack against Mal'Ganis, quickly destroying the Dreadlord's base. Mal'Ganis confronted Artus, telling him that Ner'zhul had known he would take the cursed sword and that it had now stolen Artus's soul. He spoke as if he believed Artus was now on his side, but to his surprise Artus used the rune blade to slay the Dreadlord on the Lich King's command. With his soul forfeited to the Lich King, Artus ran off into the frozen wastes of Northrend. Now a Death Knight of the Scourge, Artus killed and converted his former army before returning to Lordaeron, where he was hailed with a royal welcome. Artus proceeded directly to the throne room, where he killed his father, King Tyrannus, and set the scourge loose throughout the city. Sometime after the Burning Legion's defeat at Mount Hyjal, the demon hunter Illidan Stormrage used a powerful spell to attack the Frozen Throne, where the Lich King was imprisoned. Though the spell was unsuccessful, it widened the crack through which Frostmourne had been thrust, and the Lich King's power began to wane, so he recalled Artus to Northrend to aid him. Artus defeated Illidan and ascended the spire of the Frozen Throne, then plunged Frostmourne back into the ice and donned the helmet sealed within, becoming the new Lich King. Frostmourne's curse. Frostmourne has the ability to drain life from its victims and to drain the soul of anyone whom it connects to. The Lich King is capable of seeing through the eyes and hearing through the ears of anyone who wields Frostmourne. This ability cannot be stopped by any mortal means. The Lich King can communicate with the wielder at will, telepathically, on any plane and at any distance. The Lich King uses this ability to try and corrupt the wielder over time. This has several effects. An individual who wields Frostmourne will not part with it willingly. Over time, the person will go from good to neutral and finally to evil. A non-undead evil wielder will then become undead. Finally, the sword is able to suck the being's soul into the sword. Frostmourne then retains the memories and skills of its victim. In fact, as long as the wielder's original body remains within 1 mile of Frostmourne, the sword maintains control of the body, and he may not be completely aware that his consciousness has shifted to the weapon. Beyond 1 mile, the sword cannot control the wielder's body, and the wielder, of course, finally becomes quite aware of his current state, if he is not already aware of it. The Lich King can take possession of a soulless body that comes in contact with him and Frostmourne at the same time. The soul within Frostmourne is destroyed unless it willingly merges with the Lich King, becoming lost as a separate entity for all eternity. If a soul merges with the Lich King, he gains all of the skills and memories of the victim. He has only done this one time with Prince Arthas Menethil. Trivia about Frostmourne. Frostmourne is clearly inspired by the sword Stormbringer wielded by Elric of Melniboné in the fantasy series of books by Michael Moorcock. Stormbringer is a black blade covered with runes that steals the souls of those killed by it, and was featured in the book called, not coincidentally, The Stealer of Souls by Moorcock, published in 1963. Also, Stormbringer has a sister sword called Mournblade, which may have also been the reason Arthas' sword is called Frostmourne. Frostmourne could conceivably have been inspired by Excalibur, the sword of legendary King Arthur. Both swords grant power to their respective wielders, whether it be political or magical. Both have inscriptions upon their pedestals, and the two famed wielders Arthur and Arthas have similar names. A hidden cave can be found in the action game X-Men Origins Wolverine. Inside the cave, Wolverine finds a skeleton with a yellow exclamation point above his head, like a WoW quest giver, and a sword which is a replica of Frostmourne. Finding this room unlocks the WoW achievements or trophy, depending on whether the game is being played on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. The description of the achievement confirms the reference. You feel cold as you examine the skeleton and read the name Arthas etched into the nearby sword. In Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, both Arthas as the Lich King and Frostmourne his guitar are unlockable after earning 1600 stars and reaching level 71. Frostmourne shares similarities to another blade that is present within the game series Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Both can absorb souls, and both are wielded by nobles who were corrupted. The inscription incorrectly reads whomsoever instead of whosoever, since the hypothetical wielder is the agent taking up the blade. The word should not be the accusative case. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, play to game and game to play.